Yeah, it's in the top right. You can change your view.
All righty. Good evening, and thanks everyone for attending the first supplier response hyperlink meeting or hypercare meeting. We're joined with Eva Customer Care, so thank you for joining us, and Rich Kanya. So he'll get us kicked off this morning with our agenda.
All right, so it looks like we are going to run through, I know it's supplier electronic response, but we'll run through setting up a sourcing project. And I started already setting it up, so it's already set up. I can just submit, but I figured we'd walk through it quickly first, and then we can get to the supplier electronic response side, so you can see that, and maybe we can walk through what we think some of the questions might be, and run through that. So it's always seemed like there was a problem to share. Let me see if I can share. Screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so setting up sourcing project. This is the browse page for buyers and either admin users. The easiest way for them to find their sourcing projects is to make sure that this is checked, limit to my scope. This is going to be everything that's their team members for. And for here, I started this one, so let's go right in. Click the link. I've already, like I said, I'd set it up, added the main organization, added the commodity. The main commodity and the other commodities are what builds the supplier list, similar to what we do today. Let's see. Oh, let me go back. For the project start date, since this always seems to come up, this is the total. This is the project. This when we get down to the prepare RFX, that's the actual solicitation. That's what's going to be shown publicly. But for this project level, this is where you're going to set up what team members are going to be working on this solicitation. All the suppliers that are be, invited part of this solicitation, all the documents. There could be project level documents that you want to keep at the project level and not, send publicly. These can all be done at the project level. And then let's move through team members. This is who can work on this specific project. The person that creates the project will be set as the responsible. They can do anything to the project. Then you can add and Tracy. Then you can add others to contribute if you wanted to. And it sets as a SME. A SME is a read-only role, but you can also contributor, and then Tracy would be able to work on this project as well. Schedule. I'm going to gloss over that since it's out of the gate, probably won't be used much. Documents. This is where you can add your sourcing project documents. We were going to have general documents, but each agency it's going to be different. So we're going to leave that out. We're going to let each agency hold their own and then add their documents as needed for each procurement or project. Suppliers. This list is built for, like I said, from the commodities at the project level. The supplier list here is not built from the line items that I'll show you in a minute. It doesn't go back and set them, add them to the suppliers if you would have added a different commodity code. So if you want to add more commodity codes, you can come back to the project. And then you can select more and save. And then on the supplier list, it'll build, a bigger supplier list with the added commodities. Yeah, it's just a much bigger list. Sorry for scrolling. Go back. Okay. All right. And any questions before I get into the actual like solicitation? Oh, another thing from here. Let me add this. If you don't see the supplier in your list, you can click see all. And then you can search for a specific supplier. Take the commodity out, click search. And then you have options to search by a bunch of different SWAM category, tin, VCust if it was a converted supplier. A lot of options. So, and here we'll just pick, this one's already there, so we'll pick Newport News. That's a bad address. Come on. Save it. Looks like UAT is dragging a little bit. Let me try that again.
Mine was a little slow loading the check mark, the checkbox.
Yeah,
this morning,
mine's
too.
seems like UAT's dragging a little bit. So clicking harder isn't helping. So all right, let me close this. But anyways, when UAT isn't acting up, you would check the box here, you would close, and then click save, and it would set that specific vendor into your list to make sure that they got notified. So all right, let's see if we're going to continue to run slow. Okay, that was better. Okay, so here, header information, the name, the type. There's a few types to be, you can choose from: the bid, proposal, if you wanted to post a future procurement. Let's see. What the transaction type, the opportunity type, summary, and work location. End date, let's make it 2:30. Go through, it has all the advanced options. These are the options that allow what they can do to the solicitation. It's a sealed bid. It'll be posted in the public portal, and then obviously tracking information. Let's go through each tab, item, and I know Tracy wanted to look at with 10 grids. Yeah, so I created this. It has Each one has its own. So I did all the way to 10. And for the reasoning for this is I'm going to preview and show you what the vendor sees. We can do it here. We can do it there. And what iValua does for the response is if these grids are in a tab view, where I think if you've seen Advantage today, it's top down. Here it's a tab view, and once you get, depending on the length of the grid name, it can scroll across the page and make it a little difficult for suppliers to be able to respond. So let's see if I can show that now. So this is a preview of the supplier response. If we go through, this is the overview. This is solicitation overview, the RFX overview, the document associated with it, some response information. The label is defaulted to proposal number 1. The supplier can change it to whatever they want to. The validity end date, it may come up as a question by suppliers. This is something that they can enter a date where they'll say the response is valid. It will not automatically remove the response. But it's a date that a supplier can put in there. It's just not going to drive anything it's not going to make any system changes or system updates. So that may be a question that might come. Discussions, that's a forum for suppliers to be able to discuss kind of information within themselves. iValua does, and something we may leverage down the line, is having discussions between buyer and vendor through this kind of a forum, online forum, instead of just having to email. But for right now, it's going to be not used. So let's see. And here, this is where the items and the layout, you can see it's tab view across and the size of it has to do with the size of the name. So if there were longer names like VDOT has, for Fredericksburg, area of Fredericksburg or whatever, Spotsylvania, any of those, counties or cities that are longer, it can run across the page. It does scroll across, but it could cause some issues with suppliers being able to enter all of their information to get to the grid. So we went and checked to see how many solicitations we do today. Currently have more than 10 grids, and it's really not that many over time. So, but if you do run into a supplier that's having issues because of how many grids, then can help work them through it. Tracy, I know you have actually probably tested this more recent than anybody. When you got into the 20 grids or something like that, what did you have to do to be able to respond?
The supplier can import.
Yeah.
So they can export
Right.
the grids and then import all of them.
Right.
But they will not be able to get to all of them on this screen right here. Once you get to lot 10, where it says lot 10, and then you have that arrow. Once you click on that arrow, it'll kick you all the way back to lot 1. So you won't be able to get to lot 12, 13,
Right.
14, 15.
Right. So and the scenario is going to be, I know that there's this many lots because vendor portal, lays out how many lots there are or grids. How do I, be able to, you would have to download the Excel file and then upload it.
You can upload all of your responses to all of the grids. So you can upload the responses to all of the grids, but
Right.
if a vendor wants to, after they've uploaded them, if they want to go into the system and verify what they put on lot 20, they won't be able to get there. So they won't be able to physically look and click on lot 20 and see that response to verify it before they submit it.
Now, I think once we get to 20, I think we did some research, and I think we found 6 or 7. Tracy, I forget how many we sent to you, but I think it was 6 or 7 that we got over 20 years. So it's not
Mhm.
not something that we're going to see a lot of, but it's something to keep in mind, especially if a supplier calls in, has an issue with entering in information. You can see with 10, with line, all the lines go, north and south, but it's just the grids come across the screen. And once you get into it, you can enter. It's not that hard, but it's just, we wanted to kind of show what happens once it gets to a bunch of grids. So
Yeah, so if they want to, if the buyer wants to segment it out and do it in lots, and it's more than 10 lots, then I think a workaround was for them to list that information in the the detailed description field. So they could say, multiple grids with one line for Hanover County. They can do it like that and then list the line item and just separate it like that using the
Right.
detailed description field. Yeah, because like we were saying, they won't be able to get to lot 11, 12, or 13, or so on.
this is preview, so it's not history. It just shows the history of and where it is in the process. My team. So if you wanted to add more team members, you could. And then the questionnaire. I'd start to create a questionnaire. And I'll show you what it looks like and how to do it. So after I've shown that, I have a question for Gania. What kind of calls, and are you taking all calls, or how is that going to work for your team?
As
Because
it stands now, it's the supplier response. Just anyone who's responding, but also keep in mind that when they're calling to respond to a bid, it could be, I'm trying to get logged in
That's true.
to respond to that bidding opportunity. Or it could be, I'm checking all my SWAM certification because that particular bid is a set aside, that kind of
Right.
thing. But it is supposed to be supplier related
Okay.
issues.
Okay. All right. Then let me get through this solicitation so we can get to the supplier side. Like I said, I did one with 10 grids. That could be an issue that it arises. Again, it doesn't happen now. So I'm not sure how often, but we just wanted to make sure we spelled that out. Tracy, stay in this meeting, please. I saw that. All right. So questionnaire, again, this is buyer side. So added a document, notified suppliers, workflow. And then SWAM information. When it's running, it would give you the SWAM information that that all your vendors have. So let's see, 12:30. Let's see, I'm not going to get there fast enough to finish the response. Let's make it 12:45. Okay, it's approved. So that means it's gone through its first workflow step. Once it gets from draft to approved, and then it's going to open a page to who we're going to notify. And these are all of the vendors that we saw on the supplier list. So we're going to send to these. Do you want to open the bidding period at the same time? Yes. So that'll give us 15 minutes to go through the response, which I showed you, but now I'll actually enter all the information in. Okay, and now it's open. So let me get to the vendor side. And I'd switch screens. Can everybody still see my screen? I'm logging in.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, as with Zoom, I'm not sure if it's only one screen. Okay. So I'm logged in as a vendor now. You can see my in this for anybody that knows Current Advantage, it usually takes about 5 minutes for a submitted solicitation to show up in vendor portal. Now it's right away because of the connection. You'll see got 14 minutes left. So let's go and take a look. Details page, pretty similar to what we had before. Item, this is the list with all the grids. The information there. And the questionnaire. And this
And
is
Rich,
just,
they could be
yeah.
coming in from the My Leads page,
that's right.
like the lead summary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the daily summary email is still going out. There's no changes to that. It's just the link to get there. I didn't have it matched up to my specific supplier, but this will just kind of show you that I can, even though I'm not invited, Evalua calls it an invitation, but anybody can respond. But thanks, Kim. That's, yeah. They'll drive in through that daily summary email. Once they log in, will hit their My Leads. And then once they're ready to respond, go through the UAT slowness. There we go.
And
So
can I
here-
just
Go ahead.
mention one thing for customer
Yeah.
care that we
Sure.
ran across? So hit return, like, or click that hit return. Like, you're not going to respond to it right now.
Okay.
See this page?
Yeah.
You can't get to this page any other way. So this is kind of the Evalua version of public posting. And really, we don't expect suppliers to necessarily hit this.
Yeah.
But for right now, until down the road, we can get some cosmetic like fixes in. This is what that is. It's a sourcing page that pops up if they decide they don't want to respond and they came into it through the public posting. They don't go back to the all opportunities page. They're coming back to the pre-bid Evalua page. So my suggestion is to have them click on the EVA logo.
Yes, exactly.
And then navigate back to the public posting page, which is,
Yep. This one right here.
Yep.
Yep.
And
No.
and that's just a quirk, because I'm meeting with SBSD after this to walk them through some of the quirky things. So
Right.
that's just a quirk to share with customer care that I don't know that we've talked to the team about.
No, that's a good one. Because here, they could get stuck. Manage RFX might be, but if it didn't fit their supplier profile, then maybe it wouldn't show up there. So the way Kim described is really the best way as of right now to do that, is to have them come to, this is their homepage, their supplier homepage. And here are the links, specific links to really drive back to the vendor portal. Now they may have two page, vendor portal, the details open, but it gets them back so they're not wasting time trying to figure out where to go. Then we can spawn online again. Okay. Here, you see they're logged in. This is the name. Again, the solicitation information that they can review. And click here to start your proposal. Yeah, it's a UAT thing. All right, so again, back to the overview. It's going to look similar to what I showed for the preview. The information, the document, able to drive to the other areas quickly. Response information, again, the label can update it to my proposal. RFX, put in the validity end date. Save, I want a supplier document. Open, there we go. On the response information, I can add all my supplier documents. Again, with the discussion. And going to be able to enter in my delivery date. Save. And then I'm just going to run through. One thing I want to show while I'm doing this is you can see I didn't save when I went back, but it does save and it holds it until you leave the page. Any question while I'm just entering information? Is there any questions so far? I know I'm running through it quickly, but the solicitation closes in a few minutes. So. Has everybody been in the system playing around with it? And
Yes,
I
hope
have.
so. I was going to
well, I
say
know.
the answers better be yes.
At least by now. Well, customer care, I know they are busy with different turnaround and different having good a good amount of support on their team.
I think the biggest thing that'll be new is the questionnaires.
Yes.
But it, if you want to show the errors that pop off if you don't answer that.
Yep. And let me save. Get through history. Again, this is historical information of where we're at. Gives you the total. What the progress is, you can see the items 100% filled in. Looks good there. Questionnaire haven't started yet. Probably should do that. But if I don't, and we did access, and you'll see with the star that it is required. It is required. I've been, let's see, how long have I been? Let's say that must have a value. Save, it's filled in. Their message has gone away. Let me validate. Then a screen pops up. Shows we filled in the 10 of 10 items, 1 of 1 questions. We've added a document. Any questions here before I submit? All right. And it's submitted. All right. So what you can do is, oh, I should add this. You can create a new proposal. And the option it'll give you, excuse me, is you can either replace an existing or you can create a new one. So we can, that's 10 grids. Is there any questions about that? It just, here it'll give you an option of what you want to do. Before it would just force you to amend it unless you created a whole new one, but here it gives you the option, so. We'll cancel. Creating the new one, and then.
I did have a question for you.
Sure.
And I think the team can maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I know sometimes, or it used to be in the past, that if you were in the middle of it and it was kind of like in the draft phase,
Mm-hmm.
do you have those scenarios here as well? Like, what if I did go in and I said I wanted to replace it, but I didn't finish it? Would it still keep the original one that's submitted?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's a good question, but yes, it works like it does today. If you didn't submit, then your number one is the one that they'll get. So.
And then are they getting notifications as well, right? Are
Mhm.
they like that says that they did submit it? Would they get that in an email or something that says, hey,
Yeah.
you submitted? Okay.
Yep. Just like today. Yeah. Let's see what else. No, it's pretty straightforward. We did want to show you that the grid is kind of issue. But again, it doesn't happen very often that there's that many grids. Again, pulled the numbers, really isn't that many. But we just wanted to, arm you guys with that kind of information just in case it does come up. But the way to do that would be to download the items into the Excel spreadsheet and then upload them back. So.
And I see the My Team option. Are they going to be using that as well?
My Team, they could, if that member is part of their supplier account, say that, the three, you, Tracy, and I were on the same, part of the same supplier. If we were on that, and I created this, but I wanted to send you information or have you guys come in and look at this, I could add you, you'll be in this drop down and I would just select it and they'd be available as well. So. This thing is going to close here in a second. Back. UT's having some fun today. And then it's sealed. Won't see anything yet. And again, if you started going through, analyze an award, it won't even show any information until it's been unsealed. And I'll wait for 2 minutes for it to close, and then I can show you how to unseal it. So any questions on the solicitation? Here is also, if anybody calls in and needs help with entering paper responses, this is where the RFX activity, this is where you could add paper responses. I think, Tracy, you had a question earlier for some A's about paper responses. So
Yes.
yeah, this is
So
where
I know. Yeah, they also wanted to know, should they put in the paper responses? So if they're trying to award a solicitation, do they have to put in the paper responses in order to award the solicitation? So you do have to have a response in to award a solicitation. But the AE said that, well, for local governments, they don't want to add the responses. They don't want to add all of the paper responses. But for the account executives for the state agencies, they advise them to add all of the responses.
Transparency, I assume.
Yes, so my response back to them would be, I'll just let them know that it's not required. But it is advised that they would add all of the responses because they just wanted to add the one that they were awarding to for the locals. And we get that I know I get that question all the time, and I
Right.
always kick it back to the account executive because it's not functionality. So that's the stance that they're giving me, that the state agencies, they like for them to put them in. But it's not required for the local governments.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you see 245's hit. This is closed. The options now. These bids are sealed. I want to go take a look. There's the lock right here or the button right here. I'm in as an admin this time, so I have an option of reopening, but regular buyers aren't going to have this option. I just happen to be logged in as an admin. So let's unclick from here. Ask you, are you sure? Okay, that's unlocked. By who and when? So let's go through. We had a lot of here, but we'll analyze an award. You can see my submitted response. All right, I just happened to do it to mine. I was the only one that responded. You can see that I can't award or do an intent. And this goes along with having to enter a paper response because you have to, these buttons to be able to intent and award won't be available until I basically pick a winner. Okay, and now these options are available. And this is, I can publish the bid tab, intent, an award. I think for this, we can just do an award. So, and the way to award, and this question I'm sure will come up. Actually, I have it in vendor portal. So here, bid, intent, award. I'm going to do it one way. Just going to publish the award. Line, comment, awarding. What was it? Test fraud. Have my notice of award. Okay. Save and close. And then close here. Electronic responses, you see the status has changed. And the status has changed. My award doc is posted. The award date is posted. The vendor or the supplier is not posted yet. And that is because for Evaluate to be able to grab the line information, and that could be a question that'll come up. What they have to do is create the shell contract. And this is the way that an awarded vendor will save and close. That's really all you need to add. Okay, you'll see the link here, shell contract, and then let's go back to vendor portal and the details page. And you'll see all of the line information. Now, these were all copied, so that's why it looks kind of goofy like that.
Yes, so note for customer care, if you have a buyer that calls and said they're trying to award, they've awarded their solicitation, but the public posting status hasn't updated to award. You want to go check to make sure they clicked on that publish award button that Rich showed. Yes, the publish award button.
Right.
If
And-
they say that they published the award, the status is updated, but the supplier is not shown, then they need to create that draft shell of the contract.
Right. And if they say, you know, I accidentally awarded, I mean, hopefully not to the wrong person, but, you know, I wasn't ready to award yet. I wanted to do an intent, not an award. There is now, instead of having to call us to do a data fix, you can do you have an option to be able to kind of take it down. Set it to deleted, save and close, and then we'll come back. You see the status is set back to close. Document is removed. Award information is no longer there and it's closed. So that's something that we've had to do data fixes for. I'm sure you guys gotten the call saying I made a mistake, or, you know, can I take something down or something like that. So buyers now have the ability to be able to do that themselves. So
That is awesome. Awesome.
So got a few more minutes, but is there anything anybody wants to see? Anything else? Things supply. Let's see, any other supplier
Thanks, Kim.
things? Yeah, so yeah, Kim, I know you got some supplier things that
No, I've got no, you touched on everything that I was thinking. That was the big one. If you go into the opportunity from the all opportunities page and then
right.
decide not to submit. And then I think the other thing is that, which we haven't talked about much, but the solicitations, the lead notifications that they get on the My Leads page, they are going to be duplicative of what shows up on their managed sourcing projects under sourcing. So while you can thumbs down a lead and it removes it from your lead list, it will still be out there on your under sourcing, your manage RFX projects.
Right.
Yeah. So another little tweaky little bug.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's
yeah,
connections between vendor and supplier. There's just not, it doesn't touch everything to.
yep. So the
to do
lead list
that,
is
so-
all about them getting better matches
Right.
and using the filters within the sourcing tab for them to filter to things that are open. And if they open it just to look at it and read it, it goes to an in progress
Yeah.
set of response, versus if they never touch it at all, it's going to stay red. It's not going to go to yellow. So just quirky little things. I've got to hop off so I can get ready to talk about this some more with SBSD. So that was all, but thank you very much, Rich.
Cool.
This was really good.
Yep. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks for recording it. Well, not recording it, for joining us, Kimberly. Does anybody else have any more questions or want to see anything while we have Rich here?
I think, Tracy, there's something in the chat. Can you okay, pull it down? Have to hop.
That was
okay.
just Kim saying she was gonna hop off.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go through. Any other
Could you
real
show them where they
changes?
put a paper response in again?
Yes. Let's the other tab. I know we've gotten pretty far along in this one, but here, yep, offsite. We'll just do offsite. Response received today. It's in progress. Here you'll see there's only a few tabs. Obviously, you're not going to worry about my team and all of that in here. And then And then here where you can attach supplier documents. Yeah, the supplier will send in that paper. You can attach it right to the header there, proposal info item. Show. I'll do the questionnaire, but I won't do some of the and then save. I'm gonna submit and I'll see if it'll show you right on the page there. Yeah, 2 out of 10 have been filled in. So it'll at least give you, you know, I didn't quite fill it all in, cancel. Let's go back. Make sure we got all of the information in. And, okay, also the option, if they decline to, you can do that as well. Then should be what, 5 out of 10. Yeah. All right, and that's paper.
All right. I know we had another question.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, I lost
I'm
my.
just trying to
oh,
think of
here.
questions I've gotten outside of.
Right.
meeting.
Yeah, and
If
I've
you
been staring at this thing for years. So
could you go to the project tab and
Sure.
show them where they would need to enter in, how they could enter in a main commodity, and then if they need, well, you had it on the screen. Yep, main
Yeah.
commodity, and then if you need to list additionals, you could do that under the others commodity tab.
yeah, the main commodity is just one commodity code that you can enter here. Here's it's a multi drop down for other commodities. So there's the main commodity, but all of them will pull in suppliers. I can't add anything to this project now since how far we've gotten, but yeah, so yeah, you would do that here. Let's see, team members we talked about. There's 3 types of team members. There's responsible, who can do everything, contributor, who can make updates, and then SME, who can read only.
You know,
That's something that you guys wanted a lot, is I have somebody just, you know, from billing needs to go in and look at something, just give them the SME access, and they can go in and take a look. Other questions like procurement folder, what we get today, if an account executive can go in here and add a user, if like say somebody's out for a week or something, before we would have to like reassign or something like that. Here you can just add a user that can go in there and make an update if needed. You can just add them as a contributor or something. So that's more for account execs, I think. I don't know who's getting evad. I'm not sure. Tracy, do you know that? Who's
well,
getting what profile? I'm not sure.
I tested it the other day on the contract side,
Okay.
and
All right.
if you left, so if you were the responsible contact and you left and you wanted me to work on it, before you left, you would need to add me as an internal team member, or I'm assuming the account executive will be the person that has the EVA admin role. So
Yeah, right.
the EVA admin profile can do it as well. So it would need to be, like I said, either you before you left, or the I'm assuming the account executive will be the other person that would have the EVA admin role.
Right. Okay.
That would be allowed to do it.
Yeah, there's way to delegate to others, and then there's, you know, you can
Yes.
reassign and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be something that they should do today, but they don't. But do in the next, in EVA next, is they should when somebody's getting ready to leave, make sure that they reassign all of their stuff out to whoever's going to take over.
And
But,
can you show the documents tab too?
Oh, yeah, sure. This one. Yeah, I briefly touched on that, but that's
Yes, so the documents tab here is the document that Rich has added to be on the project, not on the solicitation per se, but on the documents tab. That's the documents you want to attach to the project level, maybe to
Right.
pull over to your solicitation.
yeah. We pulled it over for this one, so
Yep.
Yep, that's there's some documents that might be proprietary that you don't want public. So you would just leave them at the project level instead of pulling them down to but it gives you an option to choose which document you want to show publicly and everything. So
I also like to refer to the project because people, want something they can relate to.
Yeah.
So I'll say that the project is equivalent to the procurement folder. So if you want to add documents to your procurement folder and you don't want them on your solicitation. So if you do want to add them to your procurement folder, you would put them on the documents tab. If you want them to be listed on your solicitation, you would put them on the documents tab, and then you would pull them over using that publicly posted documents tab.
right.
Also, the status. So if you go to sourcing on that browse sourcing page, I know people have questions about the status at the top by the limit to my scope. Yeah, that's the status of the project, not solicitation.
Right.
So the status of the whole project.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
people
that'll
would
be a
have-
question that'll come up.
Yes.
I can't find I'm in, intent posted. I want to find mine better. Yeah, you have to look specifically for within each project. So, yeah, there's also shortcuts, but eventually those will, or it takes you right into your RFX, but yeah.
All right, we're at the 3:02 mark. So
Oh, okay.
if anyone doesn't have any more questions, then
Well,
we'll go
thank
ahead
you
and
guys.
start
I
wrapping
really
it up.
appreciate it. Hey, Tracy, could you send out as a follow-up the links to the supplier UAT side or the all opportunities page? So when we do get an opportunity, we can kind of play in there a little bit, take a look around.
The
I know,
links to what
I
now?
know the supplier.
Vendor portal.
Yeah,
vendor
vendor portal, the opportunity, all opportunities page for UAT.
Okay,
Yeah, so we can see that side of it. When we have an opportunity, we can get in there, kind of play around, look around.
you want me to just put that in the chat?
Or yeah, or you can, if you could just send it out in an email or something, so we'll have it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, anybody have any more questions before we disconnect?
Thanks for meeting with us, Rich.
All
Sure.
right.